and right now it's like pouring. You guys see that, or you guys not have rain? Nina?
Yeah, it's going to rain later tonight.
I think it was like drops here,
Are you there already raining?
New Jersey.
Yep, where I'm is like dark outside, and it's gonna be heavy rain very soon. Looks like. Okay, so who we are missing? Tomorrow. There's Akash. It's,
It seems like it's gonna be a storm.
Where? Oh my god. Oh, it's because it's already reached the south, right? The Puerto Rico. Anything, I don't know. Pouring the weather.
It seems like maybe in like an hour or something.
The Google case.
all right. Yeah, Maro.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. Okay, let's wait one more minute. Okay. Let me. Some's left. I think Akash. Juicy. Nope. Did not see any response from Akash or Chimasi. I'll give one more minute. Start at 5:05. Oh, there you go. Chimasi is here. Nice.
All right.
Hey, Chimasi. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think we can start. If Akash joins later, he can catch up. The reason why I scheduled this meet is two things. First of all, I wanted to give you some idea about the Air Marshal program. I'm sure you guys all are being part of Air Marshal program. And the second thing is what is the future for Air Marshal? And that's where the sprint planning and the things that I want to discuss. So first of all, Air Marshal. And Brandon, I know right now it's been very brutal past few weeks. You've been constantly Air Marshal because we don't have any support, but this is going to change. So trust me, this is going to change. So the plan is, tomorrow I have a meeting with Suresh and Price to talk about what is the Air Marshal future, because we can't have one dedicated resource working on day, night, every day and support it, right? So the idea is our Air Marshal program was designed such a way like we are supporting our member. And also same time we are helping our member to fix the issue. Now, really, sometimes when we see it takes a lot of time to debug and look into the issues what member is facing. Like for example, Brandon, or for me, if something like I'm air marshal and I'm reading some emails like billing issues, which I have no idea what's happening, right? Just an example. So what I have to do is basically, first of all, I need to look into the code, which I haven't wrote that. I also need to reach out to some person that I think they might work on it. Like for example, like if I'm a completely new developer, I will not know that the finance, like Alan knows it, or Samia knows it, or maybe Roshina knows it. I just have to Slack few members, and they might route me to other persons, and so on and so on, right? So it's all like I'm doing support. Same time I'm also debugging. Same time I'm also fixing the problem. It's too much. The air marshal should be, and the way we wanted to actually think is, they are front facing, sure, but they are not subject matter expert. Like if I'm air marshal, I basically look into it and I'll say, okay, this is the problem. I should see that this is X domain, and from there I should get an idea like which team or which person, and then again, let's not use the person. Which team should be responsible for handling this change, or handling to fix this problem? It doesn't matter whether it's a billing, it's a reservation, it's common service, anything, trip related, anything, right? So going forward, what we are going to do is, and again, this is just an idea and proposal, um, that every team member, not just the backend, but every team and every engineers, including QA, should do the air marshal duty. Meaning, they should be a front facing till we have the proper guideline and proper, I would say like the team. Like I don't know, you guys know the Robin. Robin is a release manager. She's working on a team that going to be like the front facing support. So they are going to receive all the requests, and they are going to try the issues to the respected team. But until then, we are all have to support it, right? For that time frame, till we have like proper team, what we are going to do is like we are going to be doing the rotation based air marshal for a week, and the plan is the person who's air marshal is not gonna fix the problem. It's like more look into it, identify the domain, and we're gonna have a conference page, or the spreadsheet or something, where it lists down all the team members, all the services, and who's responsible for what, right? So you see that issues from the member service, you are basically looking into it and say, okay, this is severity 1, severity 2, or severity 3. Based on your judgment, you are going to create a ticket on their project board, and from there the TPM should be handling, right? And then I will go through the sprint later on, but this is more like an overview of what should be done. And many company has this kind of a program, like they have a global rotation. They are working towards this kind of situation where someone is front facing, where they see the problem, they see the issues, and based on the expertise, based on the ticket description, or email description right now, they create a ticket on respected Jira board. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Any question?
Yeah.
What happens on weekends?
Whole week.
Whole week there, Nandi.
Yep.
Yeah, Marshall.
Yep. So we're not gonna have like a weekend basis. We're gonna have like a full week. 1 week, I am there, Marshall, from Monday to Sunday, and my responsibility is to look into the problem, right? The email, and I don't have to debug. I don't have to fix it. I just have to route that to the respected team, and from there, it's a TPM and respected team's responsibility to fix it. If it's 71, we'll go into that detail afterwards. But if it's 71, someone will react right away. If it's 73, then it will react on based on that.
Ritul, I do have one concern on that. First thing, when you said raising a ticket and assigning it, from what my experience and what I understood from Air Marshal doing, 9 out of 10 things which I have seen are repeated problems, at least unless you are doing it for the first time. So in that case, is it A Marshal not gonna do the task? Is it still gonna be assigned to some the team and stuff?
Well,
Because
if it's a repeating bug, right? Then if you fix once, it's not gonna repeat again, right?
but like we are not just talking about bug, right? All the tickets which are getting assigned to at least the Air Marshal or something which Air Marshal is taking care. Seems like there are a lot of things which he is doing some configuration or manual tasks. It's,
So I see what you are referring or where you are going. Agree. So that's why I'm saying Robin are planning to create a team, right? That Air Marshal team is a front-facing team, and every request will go to them. If it's account clock or reset a password, engineer is not responsible for doing that, or an engineer is not meant to do that reset password, right? They are basically are smart people, and they are here for reason that they're going to build, the software. Reset password, anyone can basically go to the Atlas and click on the button. It's not a big deal. So until then, yes, something that is manual work, of course we have to do it. Like for example, member service asking to cancel a flight. Like we are not going to create a ticket and says okay, cancel the flight. Of course we are going to react on that. But there are so many cases where you have to debug the issue, and you need to basically find out like where the issue is. You need to look into the data log. You need to look into that like more in the code and things like that. Those things we're not gonna do it. We basically are going to assign a dedicated person who's responsible for that domain, and they will actually debug or find the problem and fix it.
So this
Does
is
that make sense? Ajit, does that make sense?
yeah, it makes sense. But I mean, I don't know, the 2 times when I did, it was little. I don't know if 1 week span is little overburdened, either 3 or 4 days. Yeah, just think about that at least. Yeah, that's
and,
about
and
it.
think
I
about
agree
it.
with
It's not
you.
like 50 plus engineers, right? So you only have to work on 1 week per year.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay then.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's not that bad. And again, you are going to work on your normal sprint base, but very little. But at the same time, you are not going to fix it. Like you are going to triage the issue, and that's it. Like most of the time, the Air Marshal spend the time is debugging the issue. And Brandon knows it. Like Brandon has to debug the issue. He needs to basically find out like where the root cause is, and from there, he actually creates the tickets. Like he does like a lot of pre-work to identify the issue.
Okay, makes sense. Ratan, thank you.
Hey, Rachel. Sorry, maybe I missed something you were saying, but so at first I thought you were saying that everybody's going to be basically on the Air Marshal rotation, and the rotation each time is going to be like for the full 7 days of the week. But then you mentioned that Robin is creating a separate team.
Yes.
So I'm a little confused. Is Robin's team going to be like level 1, and then everybody engineering, QA, etc. would be like level 2, or sorry,
No.
what am I missing?
No. Till now, till Robin finds the team, which still unknown.
Right.
We don't have an ETA. This is going to be our plan.
So this is kind of like temporary, maybe for some time.
Timing, yes. Timing.
Okay, I see.
This might take like 1 month, maybe 1 week, maybe 1 year. I have no idea. But she's working towards the plan, and of course, then afterwards we don't have to worry about the front-facing support.
Right, makes sense. And second question is, so let's say one of us is doing the rotation for the full 7 days. How does it work in terms of sprint planning and resourcing? Like, are we basically like full-time dedicated to our Air Marshal duties, and so, or how does that work?
Hold that thought. I wanted to come back that later on. So we will address that in a second phase. So just hold that thought. I will address that.
No problem. And actually, one more question. A little bit, self-interested, but basically, so today an issue came up from like 2 weeks back when I was doing Air Marshal, and it was one of those weekends where Roshina did the first part and I did the first part, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I remember I, forwarded that email to like some other people on the team, but then like whatever, that issue I guess like never had any movement. And then 2 weeks later, member services came up and they're like, saying, hey, what's the update? In general, like basically, let's say that an issue is not fully resolved by the time the rotation is over. Is it to be picked up by the next person who's doing the rotation?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, all right, makes sense.
And most likely what we have to do is like, in this particular use case, good example, right? You might have created a ticket, just an example, right? You might have created a ticket has been assigned to, the team, and you might have to follow up with that team that, okay, whether this ticket has been done or not, whether it's released or not. If it's not released, you can just reply, or you can basically tell whoever is air marshal or in that Slack channel, you can say this ticket has been created, right? And then this ticket is still to do. So whoever is air marshal or whoever is front facing will know and says, yeah, this ticket has been created, it's not been deployed, and once it's fixed, you will be notified.
Makes sense. Okay.
I wanted to ask, in all 7 days, including like day and night? Like the pages?
I mean, you usually like we don't, I don't prefer like everyone work like after work hour, right? They might like check 1 or 2 times after hours and see whether is there any critical issue or not, right? So I would not expect anything after like work hours, and if something that can wait till next day,
Okay, but what about pager duty? You get the phone call, right? Even in the middle of the night.
So the pager duty is something that is critical, right? So we are going to basically, of course, I need to talk to Price and Suresh, as I said before. We also need to set up a pager duty for rotation, and of course, you might have to think about it, like what is the best way to handle all the like false alarm calls, like middle of the night. But I don't have an answer right now, which I can talk to the Price and Suresh and then come back with you guys.
Okay.
So far, it's gonna be same as what we have right now. If you are air marshal, you might get the pager duty email and phone call in the night. And if you don't pick up, or if you don't answer, that goes to the secondary one.
And so, Rutul, what about someone who's got unlucky and got the week of a long weekend?
Well, it's unlucky, right?
Unlucky for the one who was doing the week before, or unlucky for the one whose week it starts?
I think we'll come back at that time, but I guess it's like a Monday to Sunday, right? So if you are...
The long weekend also should be distributed equally among
Yeah, I think so too.
Agreed.
How about if you don't write unit tests, then you have to do the holiday?
Or if you write many of them, then you actually get to do it only 6 days.
All right, let's not. I think we only have like 10 minutes left. Let's not think about that long weekend yet. I mean, I know it's painful, but we can always adjust. And if someone has any plan, they already can switch or request something, and no one actually does a lot of work on long weekend anyways, right? So we don't get that many requests for the long weekend.
Nobody switches on the long weekend, Rutu.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that later. Let's come back afterwards. So this is how we are thinking to make our air marshal life little bit easier, and we don't have to basically support over the weekend and then debug and things like that. Now,
Rutul, when you're coming with this approach, right? Like we are trying to have it from Monday to Sunday, right? That's it. Okay. And then so I understand that we are gonna, as part of the engineering team, we're gonna do this, and then this is also being communicated across the other teams that's in there, like front ends and.
It will not yet, but I just wanted to talk to you and get the feedback from you guys. I have a call scheduled tomorrow with Price and Suresh, and I will talk to them very similar thing that I discussed with you guys in a plan, and we'll get the feedback from Price because Price can talk or communicate with his team. But this is what Suresh and I have been talking.
Okay.
It's not so basically Air Marshal is not just a back end responsibility, in other words.
Yeah. The front end QA product.
Everyone, not product.
Okay. Front end back end.
Engineers.
Okay. Including DBA.
Not DBA.
Okay.
It's only fair that the front end guys start off to introduce them to Air Marshal. So if you want to, they can start the rotation, I guess. There are lots of them, right? So.
And as I said, like, they don't have to know the system. Like, as long as they read the description and they can see whether this one goes to the finance team or the front end or the back end or the packages, that's it. And they basically can actually, get the help and, create a ticket. They don't have to debug anything.
Okay. So today, if there is any issue that comes in and we see that which are certain things are very straightforward, we kind of resolve them right away. And then when we see something that's kind of like going back to the corresponding subject matter expert, we kind of reach out to them and tell them. But there's no way we have created tickets or as such. Maybe creating ticket is the part that's going to come in part of this process. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes. So that's a second phase. So if you don't have a question for first one, the second phase is like you are the Air Marshal, right? You receive a request from the member and you identify that this is part of the billing team. So we have identified a few resources for the billing team. So what you do is you work with the TPM or you basically create a ticket and then you said, TPM, this is the ticket that I created. After that, it's a TPM responsibility and how to communicate with the team. If it's sale one, TPM will gonna assign that ticket right away. And that's where the 70-30 things that I mentioned on the email comes in a picture. 70-30 means 70% of the sprint work and 30% of M&E work. Each sprint, like each team has a back-end engineers, right? And everyone has like back-end engineer, front-end engineer. So this is going to be like for everyone, right? So if I am a part of, let's say, one team, let's just say Blue Sky, okay? So I'm a part of the Blue Sky team, and I have Roshina is another developer. Now we have a sprint planning, and at the sprint planning, we know that this is 2 weeks sprint. I am the 1 week of 30% of my time will go to the fixing the M&E bug, which is the Air Marshal bugs. Okay, so on the first week, I am the dedicated person to work on any ticket, 7 tickets, comes to my board. At the same time, if there is no SAV 1, of course, in my sprint, I allocate 30%. So I might have 1 or 2 tickets that are part of the Air Marshal program that created previous week or week before that during the sprint planning I took.
But you said it goes to the board, right? Let's say the finance board.
Yeah.
Say the problem was with say finance. So just example. So it will go to the finance board. Then when I am Air Marshal that week, I should start working on those tickets or
no, if you are in a finance team, you're not gonna start picking up. So basically each member of the team will have 1 week of not Air Marshal but rotation based support. Meaning during that week they are basically like say 1 support engineer. Okay. Everyone on this team, everyone on your team, like finance team, this example, will have a 70-30% of the schedule. 70% of the sprint and 30% of Air Marshal / this production bug support. Right? So if there is a SAV 1 ticket comes in, TPM knows that Nina is on a global rotation this week. This is SAV 1. Nina, you need to work this one because the 30% is allocated for that tickets, right? For that week.
So irrespective of which board it is, since you're the Air Marshal, you will...
No, not respective of
this is
you are...
Correct me if I'm wrong. like we so the thing is, what I understood was, when we are going to have something like tickets, I mean, when we are going to create tickets, as in, like, if I am the air marshal for that week, and then I see that there are a couple of things that are really that needs to be triaged or fixed, then we create tickets, right?
Oh, one second, Roshina, Samia. So basically, the idea is that you are air marshal. That doesn't mean that you are fixing the problem, right? So that's why I said first phase is like you are the air marshal for that week, okay? You are only triage the issue, right? That's your responsibility. You are not fixing it. Now, the second phase is you are the part of the finance or billing team, right?
Okay.
I am the air marshal. I create a ticket in the billing board, which is your board, Nina, in case, right?
Okay.
Now, if that week is your rotation, that means you are responsible for 7 support, and if anything comes to the board which has a severity 1, you are going to work on right away, even though you are part of the sprint. But remember that week is yours. However, tomorrow Julian is also your team member, so Julian doesn't have to do it. But next week, Julian is on rotation for save 1 tickets for that particular week. Anything comes to that board, Julian is going to pick it up and support it and fix it.
So then, how will front end, if they are going to be air marshal, what are they? How will they fix the back end tickets, right?
I did not say front end will fix the back end ticket. Where? The front end will create a ticket on the board.
Okay, so they'll only create, but fixing we have to do it.
Right. You can also create the front end tickets. Like, for example, you find it and you think that this is the front end member side bug or front end iOS app bug or Android bug. It's in a part of, let's say, member backend support for the Blue Sky or someone else. You create a ticket there and you say, this is a front end ticket. And the TPM will assign that ticket to respected team member, in that case, front end team, and the front end team will work on it. Right now, what we are doing is basically we communicate with the front end and we basically back and forth and says, okay, this is a ticket, and then I'll create a ticket M&E board, and then M&E basically say, okay, this is the front end, let's assign to the front end. So going forward, after 2 weeks, M&E board is not gonna be there. Like, we are completely going to get rid of M&E. There will be no M&E thing. Everything is part of the proper project board. So any ticket comes in from the air marshal, it's going to stay in the board. Based on the severity, if it's severity 3, then no one has to work on right away. When times comes, when sprint starts, we picked up. Every sprint start, we basically take some, 70 work of the feature work and 30% of the our, tech debt / this kind of bugs, things like that. Does it make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, good. And we have, Suresh and I have been working towards this SME section where, we are creating a teams, and we are also creating services that are part of which team. So from there, whoever is air marshal can identify that, okay, this is part of like reservation service. Who's responsible for the reservation service? Samia's team. So that board, the ticket will be decided on Samia's board, and then from there, if Samia or Ajit or anyone is available during that week, we'll work on that.
So every sprint is 70 and 30, or just the air marshal week?
Global rotation, right? So whenever you are on global rotation, that's where your 70-30 is. Because if you are not on rotation, there's no need for you to work on anything, right? It's like, you're gonna work on your features.
Okay, I see.
So that's why we allocate like 30% dedicated, right? So that team can have all the things, and if new bugs comes in, someone has to do hard fix, the team can do it right away. Instead of like pulling other team member from the team, and that team suffers and things like that. So these are the planning that we are thinking, where it can also help for planning session. At the same time, we don't have to jump back and forth from one team to another team, and things like that. Any other question? So that's what the 70-30 means. And I know some team has only one backend engineer, so we will think about it, how we wanted to handle it. But whoever, that team doesn't have one backend, meaning they are only responsible for one service. So, and I'll example like Samya, Ajit, and I think there's a Pranit part of one backend engineers. Basically they are one team. So technically, if something comes in, for example, just give you an example, like if tomorrow, let's say reservation service has an issue, reservation service, basically part of Samia, Ajit at right now, right? So we'll create a ticket on one of the board. They have like 4 boards, so 4 boards, like a pod structure. So we can create ticket on one of the board, and from there, TPM can assign. If Samia is a part of that 1 week rotation, she's basically work on that one. If Ajit is that, and Ajit is going to work on. So I don't think we have any team that has only one backend engineer. We always have more than one backend engineer going forward. So that should not be a problem where I only have to support every week. Any other question? Yes, no, maybe.
I'm just curious. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
No, I was going to ask, between all the teams, it's probably going to be many people. So, for us, having to do these rotations, it's probably going to be, even though it's 7 days instead of full weekend, we're going to probably have to do it much rarer than the frequency with which we get to do it right now.
What do you mean by?
No, I'm just saying, if the air marshal is basically, the back-end team, but going forward, it's going to be basically including front-end and QA and everybody else, then chances are, even though the individual rotation is going to be longer, like 7 days instead of just a weekend, but on the other hand, it's going to be much rarer to have to do support than currently. Because there's going to be more people part of the rotation.
Exactly. That's the idea. Yep. And again, I think if you fix all the bugs, and if you do the right thing, probably we don't get any email from the member service, right? If you receive one email, you guys know, we might get duplicate things every single time, and we haven't fixed it, right? That means, so if you fix that means next time you don't get that email, and one less email to worry about. So we try to make the system better. Same time, we also wanted to make sure that we are not completely occupied in the air marshal. So this is a step towards fixing the system. Same times, freedom on weekend and every single time when we think about, oh, this is my air marshal duty, this is my air marshal weekend, things like that.
Yeah, everyone at home knows there's an air marshal.
Yes, we wanted to, I think, it's technically, I agree with Suresh. Suresh was like, why is only backend is air marshal? And I did not have any answer for that. This is a rotation base, right? Everyone is responsible for the system, not just the backend, the front end, QA, everyone, right? So has to be the rotation base, and we have a 50 plus engineers. So if you do 1 week of rotation of air marshal, for time being, it's gonna be once a year, and which is, I guess, nothing. If you see that, and another important thing is, you don't have to spend that much time in debugging, right? When I'm an air marshal, what things frustrate me is, I need to look into the issue, I need to fix the issue, I need to reply the issue, and I need to support that one. It's too much work.
Yeah.
I am like, I mean, I know the issue, that's why I can fix it, but it's like not responsible. I'm not responsible for fixing like, finance issues, or I'm not responsible for like, fixing like some others domain issues. I'm a subject matter expert of, let's say, flight search. I should be, fixing only the flight search issue because that's what I'm subject matter expert or I know more.
Right.
So those things are going to be affect. And again, whatever we discuss right now, this is the plan that I wanted to run by the Suresh and Price. But Suresh is on board. We wanted to talk to the Price and make sure he's on board. And going forward, this is what we are going to do. But 70-30% is a fact right now. Like if you are on a sprint planning, please make sure you accommodate that thing. TPM knows it, that you have to basically, do the 70-30. So whenever you take the ticket during the sprint, make sure you consider this one and don't take too much, don't take too less,
Only for the air marshal week.
Only for the rotation week. So air marshal is different than rotation. You will have a rotation for multiple times a year.
Well, what is the difference?
So the air marshal is you are front facing, right? You are basically replying to the member service and you are saying, okay, yes, and you're creating ticket. But the global rotation is you are going to work on 30% of your sprint time to fix any issue comes towards your board. So there's the two things.
So just to give an example, as you just now mentioned, like Samia, myself, and Praneeth are working on like 3 different teams. So we'll have like a 3-week cycle where each week we are of every 3 weeks we'll be having 30% dedicated to the tickets that we'll be solving.
Exactly. 1 week you are basically spending 30% of your time to fixing the bugs or supporting whatever air marshal sends you the tickets. Does that make sense, Nina?
Okay, and then the front facing, that is shared with the whole company. That is also for 1 week.
There is a whole 1 week, and that might be like just a 1 week once a year, maybe. Depends upon the rotation.
Okay.
Sir, Rachel, so for the 70-30, were you actually addressing the support issues instead of just like coordinating them like as an air marshal, right? The 30 part, were you actually fixing stuff? Is that...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just wondering, is that something that's constant, or is that something only some weeks of the year kind of a thing?
It's on a rotation base, right? So, for example, you, Amaro, Alan, Abhishek, and Michael, 5-person one team, right? And we have another finance team, right? So, you will be, I think, in your case, you guys are pretty, lucky where you might have to support only 1 week, one per month for 30% of your time to fix the bugs.
Oh, so that's a rotation within each given team.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
And even then, you're only addressing those things that come up that are pertinent for your team.
Correct. And then only 30% is more like during the sprint time, we take some of the tickets, right? Like for example, SAV 2 and SAV 3, we groom. But something that comes SAV 1, that is like needed right now, right? Attention right now, right away. This is what you are going to work on right away, because that's your 30% time, and you are on global rotation call.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So 2 rotations. So 2 rotations. 1 rotation within the sub team or whatever, finance team or blue sky team, and then 1 rotation which is throughout the company, which is again 1 week. 1 week you whatever pager duty day night, and this other one which we talked about happens like depending on how many members are in the team, you'll get
Right.
70-30. Okay.
So the 70-30 is going to be future. Like it's gonna be stay there. But that other air marshal rotation that you mentioned, it's going to go away when Robin's team is ready. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So the Robin's team is going to divert all the tickets to the board, while we have to support the 30% of the time when I'm the rotations during that week, sprint week.
Okay.
And Rachel, when is this new way of doing things? When is this going to start?
So the right now M&E is still active. It's one more sprint. So after 2 weeks, the M&E board is not gonna be there. Every tickets we are right now going through in M&E board like a backlog, we are basically transferring to the every team member or team boards. So that is a long process, but this is going to start in 2 weeks.
So I'll be on Air Marshal until that whole process is done then?
Unknown right now, but honestly, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We definitely wanted to get you to the right board, Brandon. So you are going to be like a back-end engineer for one of the team who dedicated to the feature works and then global rotation and things like that. So, but once we finalize everything, then we can discuss which team you will be part of.
Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to have like some clarity on that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is right now the painful process for you, at least. But we don't have any other ways to do this one. But we are going in the right direction, I feel. And this is better. And things like once we fix the issue, because right now what happened is I have seen in M&E backlog, like we were checking it, like some of the issues are like 1 year old, still in a backlog. And I was like, we created this bug, we created this issue, and we forget it. No one is asking, no one is replying, no one is looking for it. That means it's not a bug. So those things we want to avoid. We wanted to basically put in the board on a backlog, and we have to address it.
Okay.
And again, this is just my team, so that's why I'm telling you guys. But this is going to be happen to all the backend engineers, like others backend engineers that you guys already know. They're under the Suresh, but this is part of everyone responsibility. All right. Any last minute question? I know we are running over time. No? All right. Sounds good. I will let you know, guys, once I have a meeting with the Suresh and Price tomorrow. And if you need to have another session, we can have it. And if you have guys any question, feel free to reach out to me. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. All right.